All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. So I came across this article and I was kind of dumbfounded. So I'm like, I have got to talk about this article because there's so much to digest here. This is kind of important, so I want you guys to pay close attention. I'm going to put the link to this article by Reuters at the bottom, and I want you guys to kind of look at it um, if you want. But anyway, it says Swedish bankers face identity crisis over digital currency plans. A new way to pay is causing existential. That might be English among Swedish bankers who worried that the e-corona, which is an electronic equivalent of Sweden's currency, could cost them their deposit base. You think the bankers really? They're worried about a digital currency? As they should. Let's read more. Sweden launches a review Sweden launched a review into the e-corona's feasibility in December after a pilot program at the central bank, making the Nordic country a litmus test for digital currencies. The Riksbank, wow, I wants making payments in e-corona to be as easy as sending a text. But bankers in Stockholm say that this will radically change the dynamic of the banking system. But bankers in Stockholm say that this would radically change the dynamic of the banking system. Guys, pay attention. You think bankers are starting, and it's not just with Sweden. This is going to happen with other countries as well. All the countries are going to say, oh, well, my CBDC and everything else in between. I need to make sure I put this on silent, sorry. And everything else in between. And it's like, oh, so we're going to have our own digital currency. China's going to have their own digital currency. We're all going to have our own digital currency, right? Again, as I stated before, it's wonderful having a digital currency for your country, but there are two things. One, interoperability, and then interoperability, excuse me. And then two, when you're looking at having a digital currency, they want to make it as easy as sending a text, but how do you track that? And then also, with these, it says the bankers would change the dynamic of the banking system. That is the whole point. That is the reason why Bitcoin came into existence in the first place, to completely and totally change the dynamics of the banking system. Because while most of us, especially me, and I can tell people about my story later, but especially me, when 2007, 2008 hit, when the economy crashed, people would try to take money out of their banks. Their banks were frozen. Nobody could get any money. Nobody could make any money. It was crazy. We didn't have any control, especially us over here in America, had no control over our finances. And then these banks, they're charging an arm and a leg for us to keep our money in there, and their interest rates are horrible. I mean, like 0.0000 whatever. So it's like, what is the point? You're not making any money. First off, your currency is depreciating. So as you're putting it in a savings account, it just stays there, and you're actually losing value on your currency because it loses value over a certain period of time. This is the whole reason. I guess the bankers in Stockholm are like, yes, we're going to have digital currencies. Wait, what? And so now they're realizing exactly what is happening. So it says, like a banknote or coin, the holder of any corona has a direct claim on the central bank, effectively bypassing commercial banks, where most state-backed money is held. And this is absolutely true. It's going to digital currencies is going to create CBDC, excuse me, is going to create um, more of an issue with the other bankers. Basically, the banking system is about to be destroyed. And I honestly didn't think that and really these guys over in Stockholm, I'm going to give them credit. I think they're intelligent people. They're like, wait a second, my job is about to be gone. And they're realizing this before other countries are. You see what I'm saying? And so it says right here in the next sentence, a rational household would hold its money with the Riksbank. Masih Yazdi, chief financial officer of Sweden's largest corporate bank, SEB, told Reuters, adding that a central bank offers better interest rates and protection. So you're going to have central banks having more control, but also having obviously a definite leg up and an advantage over the other banks. But it's going to get even better than that because, as I said, as I stated before, this is just a ripple effect. Like these central banks, they're going to run into the exact same problem that these other smaller corporate banks are going to run into as well. So as people use less physical cash and alternative currencies such as Bitcoin gain ground, I don't. Mm, Many countries around the globe are looking at issuing their own central bank digital currencies. The Bahamas launched their world's first CBDC in October, and China is expected to have their digital yuan within 2 years. Now, I have a thought about China. So, China, they're going to be launching their digital yuan, and they've been testing it out and all this different stuff. But they also have their own blockchain internet, what they're calling creating their own blockchain internet. And so I think, and this is just me, I'm not saying whether I like China or not or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's a smart move in this part in order to gain control. Why not? Instead of just trying to own the banks, why don't you own the servers that hold that's on the internet that holds the currency? So that way you can have more control. You're going to lose a little bit of control, but you're actually gaining more control overall because your digital yuan is going to be on the blockchain internet. So it just, more liquidity, everything else in between, it just makes more sense. It says Sweden, the last cash dependent economy in the world, is leading the way among Western countries, and the government is due to reach a decision by 2022 on whether to pursue the e-corona. I can guarantee anyone that they're going to reach a decision way before November 2022 because technology is coming. Technology is advancing so fast. And by the way, I'm just stating this out this because guys know I'm going to have to throw this in there. But you look at Holochain, for example, and they're trying to control their CBDCs. What happens when you no longer even control the internet? You don't even control how money is being passed through. You can't even see anything because everything is on, people have their own nodes, people have their own their web hosting, everything else in between. What happens then? See, a lot of these banks, they're not really understanding, in countries, they're not really understanding how fast technology is growing and improving. And to be honest, and I'm just going to say this as if I was leading a world or a government or anything else between, we all know I'm not, but let's just say I'm, head of a country. Well, what I would do is obviously welcome this in and find ways to gain control over my country. But I'm going to do that by actually taking care of my people. See, that's the problem. That's the problem with a lot of these countries. And I'm not saying which countries. I'm just saying there's a problem with a lot of these countries. If you want to maintain control and improve technology, improve the lives, the lifestyle of your people, and then your people will be dedicated to you. But you as a leader, as a country, you are a servant to your people. You take care of your people, and therefore they'll take care of you, and they will protect you. But countries, leaders, they don't really understand all of this stuff. You take care of your people, period, end of story. Everybody doesn't want to be a leader, in the world and take over everything, but they just want to live their lives. People just want to be able to go home. They want to laugh. They want to play. And of all things, a smile is universal. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter where you are. If you smile, people know that that is a positive thing. If you frown, they know that it's a negative thing. So it's just one of those things to where it's a universal language. Well, finance is a universal language. And now we're seeing that these countries, they're making their CBDCs and they're thinking, oh, well, you know what? I have plenty of time. Time is not on their side. And this is the reason why Bitcoin is going to explode, because everybody's taking their time. Bitcoin regulations, excuse me. Everyone is taking their time trying to figure out Bitcoin and how to correctly control it and everything else in between, not realizing that all of this is going to be a mute point within a year and a half or so. So waiting until November 2022, you're wasting your time. You have to think ahead of time. You can't think about what's happening now. And so basically it says central bank digital currencies across the world. CBDC projects are moving ahead across the world, though few have gone past the drawing board. Okay, one of the things, this is something that I want everyone to pay attention to. Look at this area here, Africa. Africa is one of the is a huge continent with so many countries that have so many people who are unbanked. And I'm going to make a review. I'm going to do a review on Cardano probably later on this week, because I have XRP to get into, and then someone else asked me for a different one. But later this week, I'll definitely be hitting up Cardano. But in other projects as well, not just Cardano, but Cardano specifically have been aiming, and many other have been aiming at Africa, because Africa is going to be, how should I say this? Africa is going to be the next, I guess, the frontier. So in Africa, a lot of the technology that they're used are old. I don't think a lot of them even got to checks and stuff like that. Well, they're gonna leapfrog a lot of technology. They're so behind. They're gonna leapfrog technology and end up using blockchain technology, and it's just a main hub of an increase of currencies. We've gone through central bank digital currencies. We see that all of these countries are trying to do so because all of their people are starting to be involved in the cryptocurrency space. Let me tell you something. What's going to happen when Africa gets involved? What's going to happen when the entire continent of Africa gets involved? I'm just saying. So we have to look and we have to pay attention to exactly what's going on. It says right here, if you have a bank account, but you can, at the click of a button, move your money to the central bank, that could risk instability in the system, Yazdi said. Well, of course. Of course there's going to be instability in a system because the system is broken in the first place. Risk Bank Deputy Governor Cecilia Shingley has dismissed such concerns, saying people can already exit the bank system by buying treasury bills. My point. Thank you. The governor is already realizing that, hey, look, we're going to have to continue on because people can already do whatever they want to do. We might as well just go ahead and adjust. It says we already have to face the risk that there are cyber runs out of the banking system. I don't think a CBDC will fundamentally change that to a worse situation. Exactly. It won't. Let me tell you something, people. In the world, in general, we are always going to have people to break the law. It just is what it is. We don't want people to break the law, but people are going to use whatever technology that they can. They're going to use Bitcoin. They're going to use the internet. They're going to use a pencil. They're going to use a pen. They're going to use a phone. They're going to use whatever. And they're going to break rules and regulations and laws and do crazy or evil things. That's just how people are. Unfortunately, I mean, I would rather for us not to do those things, but the reality of it is that as human beings, that's who we are. And so this, the governor, this excuse me, the deputy governor is realizing, hey, you know what? We might as well just go ahead and advance our technology, advance our system, advance how we're doing things, because look, we're not going to be able to stop this stuff. We're not going to be able to stop people doing from whatever they want to do. Um, so it says, I don't think the Rich Bank has really thought about this or come up with a good or good answers. The Rich Bank did not comment about the issue about this issue by Reuters. Political decision. Although Rich Bank has not yet specified a detailed plan for the e-corona, Yazzie said one option could be to cap e-corona at an amount which only replaces cash in the system. Okay, so that makes sense, right? Because you obviously don't want to print money. Oh, wait. In the US, that's what we have been doing is printing money. Which I can get into. Oh my god, I can get into UBI, Universal Basic Income, and all that good stuff, but I won't do that right now. The point is that yeah, we've been printing money, and other countries are going to attempt to have a cap on their cash, which is only replaces cash. The problem with that is, once again, and this is what I've been telling you people, countries are going to get to the point to where they're just going to start adopting um, projects that are already have a certain amount that are already capped out. And they're just going to integrate their currency into blockchain, into other blockchain projects. Again, Ukraine already ahead of the game. Not saying whether they're good or bad, but it was smart for them to say, hey, you know what? Let us bring in people from Stellar and have them help us out. It only makes sense. So here's a big one here. And by digitalizing cash, the Riksbank risks straying into areas beyond monetary policy, such as privacy, as payments and e-corona, which is based on blockchain technology, can be traced. And this is true. If it's on a blockchain, it can be traced. But it says here, nothing you buy will be anonymous. He said, adding a positive outcome would be that it is harder for criminals to evade detection or anti-money laundering controls. Hello, ding, 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 ding. They're starting to understand. Wait a second. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember. Remember 2 or 3 years ago when 2 3 years ago when they were like, oh, Bitcoin is a scam and only criminals use it and everything else in between. Hello? Even now they're still saying that, well, criminals this and criminals are anti-money laundering and tax evasion and everything else in between. Hello? You can do that with cash. People do that even more with cash. You actually can get caught in blockchain because everything is right there. Everything is right there. You can have more control and knowing and seeing. Now, as far as having a decentralized platform, obviously you're not going to be able to do that. But what they're starting to do is adopt blockchain, period, totally as a whole, because they're now understanding that wait a second. If we just adopt this into our system and control it, then we can do something productive here. So, Brisbane Governor Stephen Ingrave said that said in October the decision on whether to issue e-corona needs to be made by politicians. The concept of a central bank digital currency raises many questions on possible advantages and disadvantages. Financial Markets Minister Per Braun said after he launched a review. Erickson said that BRICS and banks had little support when it began talking about the e-corona a few years ago, but he fears that this may have increased as other central banks consider their own CBDCs. People, it's all coming together. This is all coming together. We're going to find out very, very soon that all these countries that are doing these CBDCs, and now at what point are we going to start making them interoperable as well? And that's going to be the other issue. When you're thinking about cryptocurrency projects, and I know that all of the cryptocurrency projects are going to be making it, especially during this bull run, whenever it happens, whenever it ends, excuse me. But what we have to understand is that everything is a ripple effect, no pun intended. Everything is a ripple effect. So you have countries that are creating their CBDCs. They're going to need their CBDCs to be interoperable. What are they going to use? They're not going to be using Swift. I can tell you that. They're going to be using something else to make it interoperable. And once they start making them interoperable, what technology are they going to use? And that, my friends, is where we people as investors, as people who want to make money, are going to win. Is okay, you're going to need this technology, and that's where I think we're going to go. So anyway, thank you guys very much. I can go through this political decision and all this other good stuff, but I'm not. I just wanted to bring this up to you guys' attention. I didn't want to go through the whole entire thing because it would have been way too long, as it probably already is way too long. But if you made it this far, thank you. This is the Crypto Truth channel. I really appreciate you guys listening and learning. And you guys stay safe out there, okay? Take it easy.